Hi class, Mrs. Calvi here. Quick review on solving equations that have decimals. It is the same process as we solve equations with whole numbers. We're just going to have a decimal instead. Okay, so here we have g minus 3 1/10 is equal to 4 5/10. So remember, we're going to draw our lines. We want to get rid of whatever is on the same side as our variable. So we have a minus 3.1. We're going to do the opposite operation, which is adding. So we are going to add 3.1, and whatever we do on one side of the equation, we must do on the other side of the equation. So we're going to add 3.1 to both sides. The 3.1s on the left will cancel, and we have our variable by itself. That's exactly what we want because we are solving for the value of the variable. And then we are going to add. Remember, when we add and subtract decimals, we must line the decimal up. So here we're going to add 5 and 1 is 6. Drop down the decimal. 4 plus 3 is 7. So our final answer is g is equal to 7.6. If we wanted to check to see if we were correct, we would plug in 7.6 in for g, subtract 3.1, and if you did this subtraction, you would come up with 4.5, so that would tell us that our answer is correct. So here we have 3k is equal to 8 1/10. So we want to get rid of whatever's with our variable, and we have a number right next to a variable. That means it's multiplication. In order to solve, we have to do the opposite operation. The opposite of multiplication is going to be division. So we are going to divide both sides by what we want to get rid of. We want to get rid of that 3, so we're going to divide both sides by 3. The 3's on the left cancel. We have our variable by itself. That's what we want. And now you have to actually do the division. 8 1/10 divided by 3. Now remember, with decimals, I have a decimal in my dividend here. I want to bring it straight up into my quotient because I do not have a decimal in my divisor. So being I don't have to move a decimal in my divisor, the decimal in my dividend goes straight up into my quotient. Now I'm looking at this 3 going into 8. 3 goes into 8 2 times. 3 times 2 is 6. 8 minus 6 is 2. Bring down the 1. 3 goes into 21 7 times. 7 times 3 is 21. And I'm down to 0. So k is equal to 2 7/10. Now, if we wanted to check our answer, we would plug in the 2.7 in for k. So I would take 3, multiply it by 2.7, and if I did that, I would see that that equals 8.1. When you do the check, you can do that in your calculator to make it a little bit easier, okay? Okay, the next problem I have here is m divided by 5 is equal to 1.5. So remember, I want to get rid of whatever is on the same side as my variable. This is division. I have to do the opposite in order to solve. The opposite of division is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply both sides by what I want to get rid of, and I want to get rid of that 5. So the 5's on my left side will cancel. I have my variable by itself. I now have to multiply 1.5 times 5. Now remember, when we multiply decimals, we do not line a decimal up. I shift everything to the right. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. I have to count scoops. I only have one decimal, and it only takes me one scoop to get there. So 1 scoop in my final answer. So m is equal to 7 5/10. And if I wanted to check in my calculator, I could take 7.5. 7.5 goes in for m because that's what I'm saying m equals, divided by 5 in the calculator, and see if you come up with 1.5. That will tell you if you have a correct answer. Okay, so that is pretty much it. So solving equations with decimals, pretty simple, just like solving equations with whole numbers. And I will talk to you guys soon.